Greetings everyone, and welcome to my video regarding the world of Tethys in a more expansive manner than before. Here we will go through its history and modern dynamics, now taking a look at the conflict between the Holy Empire and the United Republic. Before watching my video, don't forget to like and subscribe only if you like my content. Though this isn't a partnership with Micah History, feel free to take a look at his content as his videos are pretty amazing. Finally, the most important thing that you could do for my channel is to comment. Even if you don't like my video, negative feedback is still feedback. The only comments I will delete are ones promoting blasphemy against the Lord. One may ask many questions about the nature of the world. How does the world work? Is beauty objective or subjective? What is life? Is God real? What happens when you die? For this, many scientific, religious, pagan, and spiritual answers have been made. Though only a few of these answers, however dismissed, remain true. We know that God is real because beauty is objective and love, true love, remains supreme. However, many people often go into the trap of saying that they believe in God. I don't have a personal belief in God. I know God to be real, regardless of what I think. Now, I've introduced various aspects of Tethys to you before, including its flat plane, touchable sunset, vague magical and scientific system, and a basic understanding of its environment. However, I have not introduced you to its history, politics, or spirituality, that which remains true regardless of personal opinion. Said history, politics, and spirituality is currently held within a Cold War between the two major powers of Tethys, the Holy Empire and the United Republic, its glorious battles still resounding today in the sky. Thus, let us start the world's history, beginning with its evolutionary period. Far before the creation of intelligent life was the cruel mother goddess of the ocean. From her spawns all manners of witchcraft and decay, a storm against truth, justice, and humanity. For years, she believed she could contain the divine wrath of God and hinder the advancement of evolution by crafting the world in such a manner in which the air is unbreathable. However, the power of God works in mysterious ways. He is the only one who is unlimited, and through his wrath, the cruel mother goddess was defeated. Thus, the process of evolution continued. The air, now breathable, became home first to plants and then to land animals. Though the righteous development of amphibians, reptiles, and then mammals continued to bring the world to a better place, the cruel mother goddess created insects to thrash the world into a state of chaos. Because of the increasing attempts to destroy the beauty which the Lord sought to create, the draconic race was established. This race, superior to all subsequent races due to their unique humility, was established with the goal of being the world's guardians. After millions of years of evolution, both dragons and the cruel mother goddess had their hands at creating a race of intelligent life. The cruel mother goddess created the Fae, a group of animals akin to monkeys in intelligence. These Fae, made up of pixies, fairies, and other creatures, eventually gave birth to the elven race, known for their powerful tonal architecture. Meanwhile, the dragons, with their attempt to create an intelligent race, established the dwarven peoples out of lizard folk. Both of these races were pure in their own way, but there was one severe problem. None of these races had a proper soul, like those of the dragon folk or the cruel mother goddess. None of these races could create beauty or have empathy. They operated akin to machines, AI constructs mimicking humanity, but never truly becoming human. For this reason, God chose to create a people capable of true sentience and sapience. This race was humanity. Unlike dwarves and elves, humans could, with God's blessing, create beauty and show love. Whereas an elf or dwarf could have a bad day, a human could get depressed. Whereas an elf or dwarf could experience pleasure, a human could experience joy. And whereas an elf or dwarf could have a husband or wife, only a human could love. The elves and dwarves, due to their lack of souls, never felt empathy for anyone outside of their race. For this reason, humans were made into slaves and occasionally subject to experimentation. Due to the lack of wanderlust within the elven and dwarven communities, they never expanded beyond a small area within their kingdoms. Because of this, all that humanity had to do was expand and conquer beyond a small region and unite under a single leader before the dwarves and elves were destroyed. That leader came in the form of Batu Khan, and his policies, though necessary at the time, were incredibly harsh. Batu Khan was a warrior by heart, though in his warlike behavior some say that he went too far. Under his band of warriors, elves and dwarves were annihilated, leaving an extended set of vast mines and ancient ruins. Although for the longest time historians argued on whether the annihilation was necessary, a team of genetic researchers from both the Holy Empire and United Republic have found out that elves and dwarves lacked even the most minimal sense of empathy for those outside their species. For this reason, their destruction was justified. Following the complete annihilation of the dwarven and elven peoples, the various human ethnicities scattered throughout their continent and the rest of the world. This was a slow evolution, but as time went on, new civilizations emerged and thrived. Although these civilizations remained with the necessary human traits to distinguish themselves from dwarves and elves, many of them turned to satanic and pagan cults. Some of these pagans worshipped the cruel mother goddess, while others worshipped the dragons as their primary pantheon. However, none of this was enough to satisfy the truth. Within a territory amid the northwest of this world, 3 prophets emerged. These men, coming from diverse origins in this continent, were united by their worship of one God. Through this worship, they established the Church of Triune Orthodoxy, honoring God as the primary center of worship. Each of these 3 prophets moved throughout their continent, traveling to various regions to establish their own nations. The first prophet, Athrakal, moved to the west of this continent to unify the Arab and Turkic peoples to establish a single nation. The second prophet, Ioannis, established a powerful alliance between the Greek, Roman, and Slavic peoples. The third prophet, Calixtus, established an alliance between the Latin and Germanic peoples. Under their tutelage was established the Holy Empire, a nation whose entire purpose was to please God and His will. Although some would argue that this nation never truly was an empire, as it lacked sufficient centralized authority, it did achieve the greatest civilization of the world. Following this establishment, each prophet ended their lives in various ways. The first prophet, Athrakal, died in meditation alone, praying to God in his old age next to a glorious cup of tea. The second prophet, Ioannis, gathered his followers to perform a great Latin Mass in reverence of God. However, the greatest accomplishment was that of the final prophet, Calixtus. Under his command, a group of followers made up of various Anglic, Latin, and Celtic peoples assembled. They were to reach a new land, naming it Great Britain. This archipelago, devoid of natural resources, was home to something much more important. It sat alongside several crucial ley lines, allowing the establishment of certain types of architecture unseeable outside of these lands. Through these, various crystals could be forged, allowing the establishment of a powerful economy based on trade and scientific discovery. However, the greatest sight within Britain was the city of Lumerus, for only there one could reach the hidden kingdom of Camelot and approach the glorious and holy fields where the greatest of prayer and meditation can be done. Through this came the age of imperial discovery, where massive advancements were established among the various nations of the Holy Empire. This included the mapping of the world, including various lands. The first and largest continent that the Imperials mapped was Akko, a vast tropical landscape towards the south of the world, made up entirely of jungles. Peoples within this land included the Norkali, various groups of nomadic marauders, Surya Pradesh, a nation that hid its widespread slavery, sex slavery, and human sacrifice behind a veneer of cultural richness, and the Avoiruk, a Germanic people whose culture strayed far from monotheism. What was more terrifying than the peoples, however, was their cavalry. The Meganeura, a powerful insectoid creature approximately the size of an eagle. Other continents, though still filled with savage and uncivilized peoples, were not nearly as bad as that of Akko. These continents included, but were not limited to, Afghazland, a mountainous nation known for its icy winters, Avotia, a central land dominated by fertile valleys, Kivul, a large duchy of Uralic peoples who converted to Triune Orthodoxy not soon after their discovery, Yedinar, a comparatively arid landscape, though still made up of fertile prairies rather than jungles, and Avrasha, a wide and diverse land made up of many environments. The north of Avrasha was made up of wide open prairies and dense forests, and quickly became a target for imperial colonization. The nations of England, France, Spain, the Netherlands, Portugal, Bulgaria, Serbia, Rome, Croatia, Sweden, and Norway spent most of their income working on this colonization. Some of these imperial powers ended up civilizing the local peoples, establishing a symbiotic relationship of progress and prosperity. However, the majority of these nations forcefully civilized or even eradicated these nations, though even the worst atrocities paled in comparison to the levels of human sacrifice and polytheism these natives were guilty of. Meanwhile, southern Avrasha was ruled by unholy and pagan kingdoms. Because of this, the Holy Empire fought in several wars against these people to force their conversion to triune orthodoxy. These crusades were indeed brutal, but all plunder was justly taken from uncivilized peoples so that the empire could flourish. Through this, the Holy Empire advanced in science and technology, leading to a great controversy being discovered throughout the world. You see, a few people believed that the material outweighed the spiritual, that science outweighed God. These beliefs, though wrong, remained ever-present enough to threaten the truth. For this reason, a group of scholars, merchants, and intellectuals from the various Avrashan colonies wished to overthrow their kingdoms and achieve total independence from the Holy Empire. Although they had to wait for a crisis to occur in the imperial continent of Yarkov to truly begin their rebellions, this crisis eventually came in the form of a great plague that wiped out nearly half the population of the Holy Empire. Through this, a variety of nations within Avrasha became independent, from the glistening cities of the United States to the modest prairies of Uruguay. This kick-started the Industrial Revolution in both Avrasha and Yarkov, allowing for true competition among the world-dominating empires. The people of the Holy Empire, though remaining disunited, still worked on their ways to conquer the divided lands of Avrasha. First, this came through the colonization of the southern lands, fully occupying the ancient territories of China and India. From there, the Holy Empire sought to reconquer the rebel territories of Avrasha and reincorporate these heathen. The nations of Avrasha continued to advance, first technologically and then militarily. Some of them remained kingdoms in the style of the Holy Empire, fit with monotheistic religions of their own and the militaristic desire for conquest. These nations developed colonial empires of their own, and for that, gained the support and respect of the Holy Empire themselves. The initial sway of these revolutions gave way to the empire's continued conquests, and perhaps their domination of the world. However, this was not meant to be. In 3 1034 of the imperial calendar, the Great War of Avrasha began between the diplomatic empire of Brazil and the militaristic dictatorship of Iceland. These two countries, long strayed from their revolutionary origins, fought over territory and national pride, ideals foreign to their progressive origins. Following this war, the Holy Empire intervened, ensuring that both of these nations paid for breaking the peace. Brazil and Iceland, once powerful centers of Avrashan culture, were destroyed and replaced with mere imperial viceroyalties. However, a new revolutionary hero emerged within the Republic of Uruguay, Omar Perez, whose goal was to unite the peoples of Avrasha under a single revolutionary order. As dictator of Uruguay, he established the United Coalition, a group of nations that swore a blood oath to oppose the Holy Empire by whatever means possible. Under his leadership, a new autocratic state was established, but this time, this autocracy was destined to become a republican democracy, with an emphasis on revolutionary values above all else. Under his command, a group of rebellions began in all imperial colonies, targeting the empire in whichever way they could. These rebellions, some successful, others not, led to the need for a united revolutionary state throughout Avrasha. Coining the term United Republic, Omar Perez suggested the ideal of a unified nation capable of eternally resisting the Holy Empire. With this, the Republic was born, and plans were prepared to set out on conquest to the south. After 20 years as dictator, Omar Perez was replaced by Michael Cheng, the first democratically elected president of the Republic. President Cheng's initial plan was simple: the spread of republicanism throughout the entirety of Russia and a revenge war against the Holy Empire. For this reason, he ordered the immediate liberation of China and India from the empire as legions and legions of Republican troops were sent down, backed by native guerrillas. Although the empire tried to stop them, there was nothing that they could do, and the empire agreed to relent control over these territories, allowing them to be incorporated within the United Republic. The next president of the United Republic, Evan Patel, accomplished numerous progressive reforms. Under his leadership, women first gained the right to vote and run for office. A national policy of secularism was declared, and racial equality was mandated by law. However, with Patel's victories came a new plan: the complete eradication of the Holy Empire. Although peace between the two nations had been achieved, tensions emerged as imperial troops awaited new Republican hostilities. Britain was the central spoke of the Holy Empire. If they were to lose it, the whole structure would come tumbling down, at least according to Republican officials. For that reason, the operation had to be carried out in secret, as Republican soldiers did not want to arouse suspicion. After all of the Republic's planning had been done, another declaration of war was launched by President Patel minutes before the Republican Navy launched their attack on the British archipelago. Despite the Empire's security measures, London fell down within 2 hours. Following this came the loss of Sussex, Plymouth, and Cornwall. Republican troops, now in the center of England, invaded the city of Lumerus, conquering the land and marching through Camelot like conquerors instead of liberators. Emperor Vladimir XXXII, intimidated by the further presence of Republican troops, was forced to surrender to the United Republic and their invasion. In this treaty, the Empire was forced to cede the British archipelago to the Republic, creating a sense of loss and intimidation that they could never recover from. Except, the Holy Empire somehow recovered. Instead of a haunting loss and a melancholic surrender, the citizens of the Holy Empire woke up. No longer did they want their glorious and monotheistic empire to be made up of squabbling regional officials. They demanded unity, and the emperor was willing to give it to them. As per Vladimir's orders, the empire industrialized and centralized, getting rid of the pesky division that kept it weak and humiliated. With everything secured, the empire will soon declare war on the Republic again, but that is a story for another day. God bless you and keep moving forward. The Lord is the divine source of creation. He who is beyond all, the honored, blessed, and great, most beautiful, most powerful, most righteous, and most loving. Amen.